People, when people hear me say that they're just out to ruin anything that was ever good, try to change it into their own version of whatever the hell they want it to be, and act like we all supposed to be okay with that. Just think I just, talking stuff and maybe not really so and all of that, but it's true. I want to go through this something here. I have about 3 points key points I want to make. But let me just start off with Transformers, robots in disguise. That's it. They're giant robots that are having a civil war, fighting each other. They could change into cars and different vehicles and all kind of stuff. It was cool. It was interesting. That's what makes it work. There's no big mystery when it comes to what to do with Transformers. People just want to watch these robots fight and see the conflict, and that's what makes it work. Over the years, we've had different iterations of Transformers, but I mean, recently they came up with Transformers EarthSpark. Once I see the trailer, I wasn't interested. I was like, yeah, this is going to look like some kind of nonsense I'm really not going to be interested with. But of course, they got to find a way to cement more of the crap that they do with everything into it. Let's get into this article here. Transformers EarthSpark season finale rolls out franchise's first non-binary Transformer. Now, technically they're robots, so they don't really have genders or anything like that, to be honest with you. But over the years, we've all come to understand that, it have certain genders among them and all of this, but non-binary crap don't really work. Now, as I go through this article, I'm gonna tell you a few things that really need to be said. So, bear with me. Ever since their launch back in the 1980s, there's always been more than meets the eye when it comes to the Transformers. And in current year's Transformers EarthSpark, that translates to the series' signature robots experiencing the Cybertronian equivalent of gender dysphoria. Makes no freaking sense. Releasing all 10 episodes of its first season to Paramount Plus on November 11th, the latest CGI installment of the legendary robot series is set long after the conclusion of the Autobot-Decepticon Civil War and follows the story of Robbie and Morgan Malto, what the hell that means, two humans who end up discovering that the Cybertronians had previously set down roots in their new hometown of Witwicky, Pennsylvania. Oh wow, Witwicky, Pennsylvania. How creative. Using custom cyber sleeves, Robbie and Mo end up establishing emotional connections to the first two Earthborn or Terran Transformers, Twitch and Trash. The names already sound fantastic. Throughout the series, the Maltos work together with the Autobots as well as Megatron via the Ghost organization to protect the Earth from not only the remaining Decepticon forces, but also any other threat that comes their way. The existence of the franchise's first supposed non-binary machine is revealed in the series' two-part season finale, Age of Evolution. During a scene wherein Optimus is walking his team through an upcoming raid of the villain Mandroid's lair, the Autobot leader can be seen using random household objects such as soda bottles, cups, and even toys to represent the terrain and his allies respectively. Now, let me pause there for a moment. As I said earlier, the simplicity of Transformers is giant robots fighting giant robots. That's really what it is. You build a story from there. In this so-called modern age, they have this never-ending drive to push everything that they consider relevant to now into everything. This non-binary won't work on a show like Transformers, it won't work. It will not work in most shows at all, because you keep trying to humanize the crap out of things that does not in any way conform to that, and messing up everything along the way. Because this whole thing here is the only thing I have heard people talking about when it comes to Transformers EarthSpark. I've heard nobody say what a great show it is. The story was fantastic, excellent graphics, can't wait for season 2. No, this is all that they're leading with, because this is all these things become about when they start to mess with what they shouldn't touch. There are fans of Transformers who will not even be interested in this, because your goal should always be to bring in new fans, not to alienate the ones you already have and then just turn off any future prospects. Now that's point number 1. Let me get to point number 2 as I go along here. Upon seeing the toys being as a stand-in for the Autobots and the Maltos, Nightshade takes notice of a penguin bobblehead before proceeding to ask his leader if he can be represented by it on the board. Caught off guard by this request, Optimus hesitates as he begins to answer, finding himself confused as to just which pronouns to use in reference to the terrain transformer. Why in God's name would Optimus Prime be confused as to which pronouns to use? He could just call him by his name. He could just say, Nightshade, you would be doing this and that. That's it. But they literally inject this here to make you think that it's some big philosophical confusion that Optimus Prime would have. There's no reason for that. All Optimus Prime has to say is, Nightshade, you'll be this bobblehead. That's it. But you have him here confused as to which pronouns to use. They keep taking these characters, these established characters like Optimus Prime or whoever, and they keep doing the most terrible things to them. I go back again to Masters of the Universe and what they did to He-Man. They basically turned He-Man and Adam into a whimpering little sissy boy who back in the corner, while they promoted strong feminine man-woman to the front, and then they pretty much asked us to just accept it to be that way. That's it. Why do you keep doing this? Well, because you clearly don't give a shit about what you're doing, so you just figure nobody should care, otherwise I should just be happy with it. On to the next point here. Seeking to break the tension, Mo steps in for Nightshade, and after exchanging an acknowledging nod with the Autobot, turns to tell Optimus Nightshade's pronouns are they, them. Why in God's name would a robot have they, them pronouns? Nightshade then quickly and confidently follows up Mo's reveal by affirming he or she just doesn't fit with who I am. And this brings me to another point. You begin to see this happening more and more in children's programming, and this is why parents are turning away from it, because these companies, these blue-haired weirdos, these woke wackos who run these things, who make these things, are targeting your children. I've said this before, I will say it again. They're targeting your children because they know to themselves, if they could get your children thinking just like them early, they could brainwash them into doing anything later down the road. Because you hear about all these horror stories of children who barely 10 years old or who barely teenagers going through sex change operations, literally butchering children, and then years later wondering why they did it and want to turn back, because for some reason this has seeped into it and made it seem like it's okay. You have children are supposed to be children. That is it. But no, here you are, and of course, to show that they're extremely diverse. The children in this Transformers EarthSpark thing have to be black, because they need to show that we down for that. But here you have a child to say now how that Nightshades pronouns are they them. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Other than you just want to say, okay, you know what? If we have a child saying it, this is going to appeal to children. So you start off with a show, Transformers EarthSpark, that is aimed at children, and then you just ever so subtly slip it in. So it gets into their mind, stays there, and starts to just marinate as it goes along. Because if you could get the children when they're young, you're already set for life. This is not the first time they've done this, keep in mind. Because unsurprisingly, Nightshade is but the latest member of the Transformers to join the ranks of the Cybertronian Alphabet Squad in recent years. Yes, I talked about this before in a recent video, but yes, again, in 2018, IDW revealed that a number of previously established series mainstays was some form of LGBT, and the backlash they got hit them so freaking hard. The first to be undergo this change was the classic 1986 female Transformer RC. Now RC was a Transformer a lot of people liked. A lot of people liked RC. They had to go into the comics and flick that up. Who in 2018's Optimus Prime Volume 1 number 25 was retconned into being a Cybertronian equivalent of a male to female transgender individual. This is it. Here I've shown this many times before. I talked about it, and it wasn't only that. Next up were Autobots Ratchet and Drift, who were retconned into being each other's same-sex conjuncts Endura, the Cybertronian version of husband and wife. During the events of 2018, the Transformers Lost Light Volume 1 number 25. When IDW started doing this nonsense, they did it with Transformers, they did it with G.I. Joe. They got such a backlash that people just walked away from it. They've lost the rights now for Transformers and G.I. Joe, but the damage that they did still lingers on because you were more interested in pushing a bunch of identity politics nonsense where you had no business doing it. Nobody ever asked you to do this. Your fans walked away. What little you had walked away, and now we have in this one. Now we have this Nightshade's pronouns are they them. Their overall plan is a three-step thing. One, ruin anything from childhood that people grew up liking because they don't like it and they want to change it. Two, take established characters and destroy them fundamentally, break them down to the point now where they just reduced to being simpering wimps of their former self or just completely changed and retconned entirely. And three, target your children, because if they could get them thinking just like them, then later down the road they will have more followers to join the ranks of their nonsense. This is not acceptable. It's not sane. Transformers, simple prospect. Giant robots battling it out, changing into vehicles, being cool. That's it. Keep your them nonsense to whatever else. It makes no sense in this, but you just keep doing it because you figure you just want a bunch of online browning points and all kind of pats on the back from people on Twitter who don't even watch this thing to begin with. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell, be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.